Hi, I'm Jen, and in today's video we're going to combine my March wrap-up book haul with my April TBR. And I want to start off talking about a couple of horror books that I read. The first one being Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This was the horror spotlight pick for March, and it was okay. It was following some teenagers who live at a boarding school. It was very fairy tale like. One of the characters writes dark fairy tales, one of them draws very dark fairy tales. There is a romance. There's a lot of teenage angst going on in this one. The writing is kind of odd because there's a lot of like lyrical metaphors, things to make the book more atmospheric and feel dark, but if you really think about it, they don't make a whole lot of sense. So that could go either way for readers, I think. But overall, I did enjoy reading this one, and I gave it, I think, a 3.5 star. And then last month, I put My Soul to Keep by Tanana Rovdu on my TBR. It is a vampire horror novel, and I did start reading this one. It was pretty heavy-handed with the prose, which normally would be fine. I love literary horror, but I don't think that my brain is in a place right now to read something that is quite so literary. So this isn't a DNF. I'm just going to put it back on the shelf and pick something else to read in the month of April. So let's get out my TBR jar, and we're going to pull a red one. Those are my horror books. See if I can point it your way. The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. That's awesome. Okay, let me go get that one. So I don't know much about The Echo Wife. I just know that it's horror, and I have read Sarah Gailey in the past, so I know that she writes weird, kind of twisty things. So I really want to go into this one blind, not knowing what to expect. But it's pretty short, so I think there's a really good chance that I will make it to this one in April. Up next is science fiction. I pulled Infinity Gate out of the jar last month, and I did read it. It was absolutely incredible. It is one of my new favorite sci-fis of all time. It's a multiverse novel where they're jumping between worlds. There's an AI component. We do follow multiple points of view, and I really love all of the characters in this world. Everything is very complex, but M.R. Carey's writing is very accessible, and I just really enjoyed this one. I gave it 5 stars. Infinity Gate is the first book in the Pandemonium series, and I do have the second book, Echo of Worlds. And so I'm going to go ahead and put this one in my TBR jar before I pull out a sci-fi for April. So I'm going to pull another orange one. Try to mix them up really good. The Memory Police. Oh, yay. Okay, let me go get The Memory Police. The Memory Police is by Yoko Ogawa, and it has been translated from the Japanese by Stephen Snyder. I've been trying to read a translated book each month, so this will actually work to where I don't have to pull an extra book for April. In this one, I think they are removing objects from society, so they're actually going in and removing memories of these objects from people's minds. I have heard nothing but praise from the people who have read this one. Up next, we will have romance, and then I will also talk about fantasy. I started listening to Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, and I got about 9 or 10 chapters in, and the discussions were really great, but it seemed to be focusing solely on the relationship and the spice, and I was bored. So I decided to switch over to the Ali Hazelwood that was actually on my TBR for March, which is Love on the Brain. I'm still currently reading it, but I'm about halfway through, I think, and not quite halfway through, and I'm really enjoying this one. There's a lot of discussion about what it's like to be a woman in STEM, and there's a project that these two are working on. We haven't even gotten to the romance yet, so I think this is more of a fit for me. I'm looking forward to seeing how I feel about Ali Hazelwood as an author, because this is the first book that I've read by her, other than having tried Deep End. And I think what I'm going to do for my romance for April is read Quicksilver. I started listening to this one on audiobook and I'm really enjoying it. So I think I'm going to get a copy of that and hopefully be able to read that one in April. I did also want to mention that I got Funny Story by Emily Henry. I was on a business trip a couple of weeks ago and I wanted to get something from the airport, so I got Funny Story, and I've been waiting for it to come out in paperback since my other Emily Henrys are in paperback. I'm really looking forward to reading this one, but I'm not sure that I'm going to get to this one in April. And up next we have fantasy. I did find my copy of The Bone Ships. I just love this cover so much. I am going to go ahead and draw a fantasy just in case this one isn't working for me. This is a reread. The first time I read it, I made it halfway through. It wasn't working for me. I decided to DNF, but I saw so many reviews that said the second half of the book was much better than the first. And I really do like the dragons and the pirates, and it seems like it would be a book for me, so I do want to give it one more chance. But if this one isn't jiving with me in April, I'm going to go ahead and draw a fantasy book just to have another option. So, it's going to be something blue. Oop, I had one and I dropped it. Okay. What does that say? The Shadow of the Gods. Oh, wow. What a pick. Okay. Okay. The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I guess we're going to do this one. So this will be my first John Gwynne. I have not read John Gwynne before. Obviously, this is a series about dragons. These are also gorgeous covers as well. I was expecting to read Malice first. I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't pull Malice instead, but I'll probably stick with this one. I pulled this one for a reason. So, The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. My 2025 new release book for March was Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. This one was a DNF for me. I was not enjoying it. I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about the story. I felt like everyone was unreliable. So I just didn't want to push myself and finish reading it. This one follows a woman who wakes up. She doesn't know where her husband is. She finds out that he is currently holding people hostage. Like I said, this one was a miss for me, but I haven't read Gillian McAllister before, so I can't say how this compares to any of her previous releases. And the new release that I'm going to read in April is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. In this one, we're following a woman who is washed up on the shore, and I think things are a bit creepy and strange in this one, but I don't know much about it, and I'm looking forward to checking this one out. Another new release I read, which covers the YA category, is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is the 5th Hunger Games book. It is a prequel that follows Haymitch's story in the Hunger Games. Haymitch is the character that was played by Woody Harrelson in the movies, and I really enjoyed reading this one. I felt like it redeemed the series. I wasn't a big fan of Songbirds and Snakes, and I feel like this one brought the series back to the original intention, and it was a tough read. It was a really brutal book, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars because that's what I gave the original Hunger Games books. But as a Hunger Games book, I thought it was a perfect installment. And so I'm going to go ahead and pick something in the YA category real quick, which is a purple. Pick this one. I'm not sure what that says. Oh, Where Sleeping Girls Lie. Awesome. Okay, I want to read this one. Let me go grab that real quick. Where Sleeping Girls Lie is by Farida Abiki-Iyamidi, and this is a horror. I think pretty much all of the books that I have that are YA are horror with the rare exception. And this one is a dark academia. I believe the main character's roommate disappears on her first night at the boarding school, and so they think she has something to do with it. And I think she's actually trying to solve what happened to her roommate. And for my fiction pick, I'm going to keep True Grit on the TBR. This is a Western fiction novel that I don't know much about. I'm going to go into it blind like most of these books, but it's pretty short, so at some point I'm going to have to get to this one. And I think that's it for my TBR and my March wrap up. Please let me know if you've read any of these, if any of these I definitely need to prioritize for the month of April. And be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, it would help me out a lot, and I will talk to you soon.